He breaks into the garage. He sees this really secret, shady kind of door into the mountain, barricaded, and he sees a camera. And what he does, he have a split of a second to decide, because he knows right now the guy behind the camera can activate the explosive device and kill him and his teammates. And he's thinking, what should I do? Should I retreat and hope that the terrorists did not see us and won't activate the device? Now, even if you retreat, that device can still kill everybody in that building and even in a radius. So what should you do in that split of a second? What would you do? And what this guy did, quick thinking, he said, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about another special operation that happened by the IDF in Lebanon. Like I said before, Israel have the craziest, coolest military in the world. What a crazy nation. I can't even stop talking about it. There's so many things that makes Israel such a cool nation. And today we're going to talk about one of the stories from the operation in Lebanon. It's called the biggest explosion in the history of the IDF. It was so strong, residents of the north part of Israel received in the cellular phone a notification about an earthquake. And this is the story that was never told about the monster in the mountain. Bum, 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 bum. That's like my bedtime stories from my kid. It doesn't have monsters in the mountains. Well, sometimes they have different kind of monsters that he needs to overcome and challenge. Anyway, let's focus here. Officer A is a commander in the unit in Yahalom, which is the יחידה הנדסית למשימות מיוחדות, which is the Israeli special unit for special engineering and explosive and demolition anti-terrorism unit. It's a very cool, versatile unit that have probably one of the coolest units in the IDF. I actually know that unit very well, and I know a lot of people from that unit. Wow, what a cool unit. And it takes one of the smartest soldiers in the IDF, go to that unit, and they make them into very intelligent, very deadly war machines. Anyway, so what happened is, he's saying this. It was a very strange house. In the children's room in the house, children's room, we found explosive devices from the best quality that we've seen Hezbollah have. From Iranian factory, ready to be used. And then I saw in the garage of one of these flats an inside door and a heavy wall. Something seemed very fishy about that heavy wall with a lot of locks and a lot of barricades around it. And the wall was actually the wall was basically facing a mountain. Behind the wall was a mountain. So that shouldn't be a wall there with a door. So that immediately was very fishy. Captain A noticed that next to the door there was a camera. And a fish eye of a camera, and right behind it was about 35 kilograms of a deadly explosive device. He had a split of a second to decide what to do. And this is the life of special forces. This is the life of the IDF since they start fighting Hamas and Hezbollah, because we've allowed these enemies so much time to regroup, to oppress their own people, and to raise, child soldiers, and to prepare for fighting Israel. When you're going to fight them, you're going basically to hell. To fight them in their own ground, where they used every possible children bedroom and school and mosque to booby trap it. I've lost dear friends. Most of them died to explosive devices that were hidden in mosques and school and children rooms. And that is what happened when you let radical Islam go freely. Radical Islam is like the head of a snake, of a hydra snake that have several heads. You only take one head, it keeps growing. And the only way to fight it, and I've seen that line, I'm copying that from a movie actually, but the only way to fight it is you keep your foot on his neck and you keep chopping that head the moment it grows back up, that snake head. And that is radical Islam. Right now, that's the main way that the world need to understand the fight. You don't let it grow because it becomes deadly. So here's the soldier. He's standing there, he breaks into the garage, he sees this really secret, shady kind of door into the mountain, barricaded, and he sees a camera. And what he does, he have a split of a second to decide, because he knows right now the guy behind the camera can activate the explosive device and kill him and his teammates. And he's thinking, what should I do? Should I retreat? Should I retreat and hope that the terrorists did not see us and won't activate the device? Now, even if you retreat, that device can still kill everybody in that building and even in a radius. So what should you do in that split of a second? What would you do? And what this guy did, quick thinking, he said, I chose option number 2, which is to shoot the camera and hope that the guy didn't see us. He probably had a silencer, so he shot the camera quickly, took it down, and he said this was definitely the most dangerous moment in that operation in my eyes, because that was the key moment that he realized at this moment the terrorists had the advantage, the upper hand on the button. If they would have activated the button, they would have probably killed many of these soldiers right now and had a chance to fight them. So he took it down immediately. And that's one of the things that you need to understand about special forces or in general combat. It's very easy to judge soldiers' actions when you're sitting under a neon light in an air-conditioned room with a suit and a bunch of lawyers. But these soldiers, they need to take decisions in a split of a second. And that can be the difference between you dead, your friends dead, and sometimes even civilian casualties. And it's so easy to judge it when you're from the outside. It's so difficult when you're in there. I've been in these situations so many times where from the outside, I had people really judge what I did. But I told them, you know what, guys, if you were there, you would have seen the pictures completely different. I've dealt with some really radical terrorists that later on were written in the newspapers that they were peacekeepers and I don't know what, and that the evil Israeli Druze officer was treating him so badly. That guy was a rapist, was a murderer, was a torturer. And he was killing his own people, by the way, before I took him down. But still, I was the bad guy because, you know, things look differently when you're not in the mud, in the gutter, in the bunker. So let's continue. A source in the IDF said that the Radwan terrorists, that's the special command unit of Hezbollah, considered one of the best command units that any terrorist organization have in the world. They're literally the elite Delta force of the Islamic world. That's how good they are. They're not as good as the Israeli Special Forces or the American Special Forces, but they're probably better than most special forces that you'd see even in Western countries. Now, they were supposed to stay there for months. That was a special unit that was supposed to stay there for months, if needed, without going outside, and to be always ready. And when the time comes to jump out, even running if needed, until the Israeli fence, go inside and conquer these settlements, these towns, these villages, Margalit, Menorah, Misgav, and etc., and then continue all the way down to Kiryat Shmona. Remember, Hezbollah had plans of October 7. Actually, Hezbollah basically invented the whole idea of October 7, and Hamas adapted it and did it before them. Luckily, it's hard to say thank God because that was terrible, but if Hezbollah would have done October 7, the same way the Hamas did, or together, it would have been a whole different story right now. They missed their chance right there. Could have been a bloodbath. I still think that the Israeli men and women would have kicked their asses in the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Women and men in Israel are fighting like lions and lionesses and kung fu pandas. They will literally go and kick their asses, but it would have been a bloodbath. It would have reached all the way to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Luckily, Hezbollah didn't have the chance, and Israel went and took them down with the pagers and etc. to stop that chance before it happened. So after clearing the tunnel, we started another race against time. How do you bring to such a hostile territory 400 tons, my God, of explosives without Hezbollah understanding what's happening under their nose? The paratroopers from the battalion 890 unload the equipment, the heavy explosives, and specialists from the unit, the Yalom unit in Handasa, chose exactly where to put it, where to put the explosives in the wall. They usually sometimes drill holes in the walls to put them in. They have their own techniques to how to do that. And then on Saturday, 7 in the morning, a reservist officer had the honor to press the button. And why am I saying the honor? And a lot of people get angry. Most people get angry when I say these words as our jihadists. Because when you have the honor to eliminate an enemy plan to butcher and kill your people, rape and murder and burn babies alive, it is a great honor. It is a great honor to be able to fight for your country and protect it from the bad guys. It was a great honor for the Spartans to go and fight the Persians before they went and destroyed basically Western democracy for the future. As we know, thanks to them, we have democracy today. Think about that, guys. It was a great honor for Israeli soldiers to go and fight against Hezbollah and Hamas and to eliminate that enemy. And it's a great honor for Americans to fight against the Nazi Germany and stop them, the British as well, back in the day when the Brits were normal, before they became a country that is arresting Christians for praying and arresting people for having, Facebook tweets, but still letting radical Muslims go in the street and chant Intifada revolution and from the river to the sea. Britain have lost its head. Unfortunately, it used to be a great nation, but they're spiraling down. I really hope they can get back up. I have great Brits friends, and I really wish them all the best. Anyway, let's continue. Commander A, the commander of the Midron Mushlag of Yalom. This is a special unit that is designed for breaching. It's a special breaching unit of Yahalom to breach any obstacle possible in context of terrorism. That's kind of in combat terrorism, special forces and operations, not in context of breaching the canal. More into walls and rooftops and breaking into a house full of hostages and etc. And he says, just like I went first to that same tunnel in the opening of the garage, in the entrance of the garage, also I was the last one to leave. Leaving them behind me, leaving the tunnel behind me, giving one last look, and mostly looking right and left to make sure that we haven't forgot any soldier. In the moment of the explosion, I felt the shock wave. Even though that we were already in Kiryat Shmona in Israel, that was an amazing feeling. Just imagine, when he's thinking that, I'm pretty sure that some of you are imagining the same scene, something from a James Bond movie or I don't know what, where the hero is walking and then behind him just the whole mountain goes exploding. 400 tons of explosives. I once detonated 30 tons, but I couldn't detonate them all together, me and my friends, because it was too big and we were inside of Israel in the desert. And the moment we detonated it, we knew that if we do 30 together, the shockwave is going to be just too devastating for nearby towns or animals, or et cetera, et cetera. So we had to do it 15-15. We had to go about 5 kilometers away and we still saw the mushroom. And then a few seconds later, felt the whole explosion in our faces. And when we went to the area where we did that in the desert, the sand was glass, basically, in the middle of the crater. The reason we did that, by the way, was just because it was loot from war and expired ammunition that was, you can't trust it anymore. So the best way to get rid of it was to detonate it rather than leave it, for accidents. So that was 30 tons that was done in 15-15. 400 tons, my God, that must have blown an entire mountain. But just imagine what they have found there and how many lives they probably have saved by taking down that evil regime, Hezbollah, and working on taking down Iran and all the plans that they're doing. These countries are not doing financially too well when you think about it. Well, when you look about the ammunition and weapons that they have, it's like, what's going on, guys? Why don't you build schools? Why don't you build universities? Why don't you build hospitals? Why are you always just building jihadists, radical, torturing, mass graves and terrorist camps? Insane. Literally the forces of good fighting the forces of evil. But what a story. What a story. You can't get that even in movies. You know what? It's like, people say it's like in Call of Duty, but I always tell them, no guys, Call of Duty is like in real life. When me and my best friend, who is a former Apache pilot and was in different places in the armies as well, when we play computer games, that was in the good days when we were not parents and we had some time to play. And it was funny because a lot of these special games, like Black Hawk Down, Call of Duty, Ghost Recon, PUBG, I don't know what. For us, it was reminding us of what we did in real life. We would do Battlefield. We would say, we actually did that in real life. Now we're doing it here in the game. That's pretty good. That's actually, pretty accurate, the whole atmosphere of what's happening. It was funny. He was an Apache pilot, so he was flying the Apache, and I was, the special forces. I would always go with him in the airplane, and then he'll come. I will land up, clear the whole area in the game, come back in the airplane, we'll fly, we'll get shot a little bit, land the Apache, click, 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 fix it, goes back in and goes. Anyway, I'm just nerding out on you right now. That was fun times. When I was taking vacation from the army and he was stationed in Germany, we'll go and just play these games and hang out, drink a lot of German beer and watch Game of Thrones. Perfect man cave, by the way. So anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. That was just a glimpse of one of the amazing cool stories that is happening right now in the IDF as they fight to destroy all these enemies that are coming to destroy Israel. Israel is setting the bar right now for America, for the West, how to handle radical jihadists, how to handle radical Islam. You don't negotiate with them. You don't try to send them money like America, Biden, Obama are sending Iran money for unknown reason while they're trying to build a nuclear bomb to destroy the West. You go and you kick their asses. You take down their Tusiks, you smother the camel poop, in their face, these Houthis or I don't know what, and you teach them to not try to murder your people. And he basically telling you guys want to play in this Jurassic Park 5,000 years back crazy mentality? Do that. You know what? Do that to yourself. But if you want to come to us, you better be ready to pay the price. And if you want to come and be with us, then get your crap together and start living in a way that is not killing, destroying, depriving women from their rights, depriving human rights, throwing gays out of rooftops, doing so many crimes, marrying young girls. All these things are relatively accepted and supported in the Muslim world. So the West needs to wake up and learn from Israel how to still maintain a Western civilization with democracy. I'm telling you this as an Arab from Israel who can say for sure that Israel have the best life for Arabs in the Middle East. We get all the rights, all the obligations, even more. Many Arabs in Israel have more rights than the Jews because they have all the rights, but they don't have to go to the army and do other stuff. So Israel is an amazing example of how you can still maintain a modern Western civilization, even if you're surrounded by these radical jihadists, and not succumb to their evil plans to destroy your country and take it from within, like we're seeing right now in America, in Europe, and everywhere. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to do the shebang, the whole shebang, the like, share, subscribe. And if you want to help support my videos so I can keep doing this work for you, because after all, I am doing this for my free time and out of my own free time, go and check my Patreon where you can find practical, direct ways to support my work. But until then, don't do anything stupid. And in general, just don't do channel tradition, right? We need to give some word of wisdom. You know what? I'll tell you a story about the farmer and the tractor. I was once in Africa and I was helping a friend build an orphanage in the middle of the jungle in Africa. I've heard one of the preachers there telling a story that was very fascinating. And he said, a farmer wakes up in the morning and he needs to go and work on his fields. And he just got this new tractor, which is gonna finally help him provide for his family and for his tribe in his village. But the problem is the tractor broke down, is missing one piece. So the farmer knows that he needs to get down from the village, walk all the way down, get a Buddha or a motorcycle, drive to the city, buy that piece because they don't have Amazon there, or FedEx. Get that piece, come back, fix the tractor so it can keep working. The only thing is every time he steps out of the house, he sees some problems and he starts fixing it. He goes up, oh, the fence is broken, go fix the fence. He takes another step, oh, the chicken scoop is broken, I gotta fix it before the fox is gonna eat the chicken. Another step, or the tree is, I don't know, I didn't take care of the tree. And what happened, by the time that he gets to the tractor to take that piece and drive, it's already too late and he goes back to his house. So he ends up never really fixing the tractor. And that is a very good lesson for us for life, that sometimes it is important to identify the most important urgent problem that I have in my life right now. Hey,
you need to come quickly. Matters and Rafi are gone.
are you serious? Where are you?
We were on the way home. They were walking behind us. We turned around, and I don't know what's happening.
Where are you right now? Calm down. Where are you? And where was the last place that you saw them?
On the way to front, but they were behind us.
Okay, calm down. First of all, calm down. I'm on my way right now. Call me if you find them, okay? I'm gonna bring a flashlight. Call me if you find them and give me any information. Send me a GPS location. Bye. My kids are lost in the forest. Gotta go and find them. All right. Found him. Little champion got lost in the woods, in the dark, in the snow, in Germany, and managed to navigate his way outside of the woods by himself, made his way all the way home, couldn't enter the house, and then went back to the woods looking for his mommy because he thought that she might be still lost in the woods. He kept his calm, he stayed focused, and my God, what a champion. On the way back, while I was bringing him home, I asked him the question, Rafael, what would you have done if Abba wouldn't find you? And if you were still right now in the woods, in the snow, in the dark? And his answer was mind-blowing. Here, I actually filmed it. You can listen to the answer yourself.
I'm more to the cars.
Why, you want to drive in the snow? Rafi, what would happen if you would have been lost in the woods, in the snow by yourself? What would you do?
I would build a camp and get something to eat.
You were in the forest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got lost.
Uh-huh.
And then what did you do?
We go and go home.
You went home by yourself.
Huh?
Cross the street by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You waiting for the green light?
Uh-huh.
Good. Third thing, that's really the most important rule. Never split. Okay, that's what happened in all the books and adventures. That's the mistakes they do when they split. Okay?
Why?
Because when they split, that's when you get lost. And bad things happen, so stay together. You're better together as a team. My hands are freezing. What are you doing? Are you licking ice?
Yes.
No! No, dirty decisive, don't lick it. Simple. I would have just built a camp, found some food, and waited for Abba to come and find me. He added that part after. So, wow, what a champion. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I always recommend raise your kids to be strong, raise them to be capable, help them improve their confidence, put them in controlled, dangerous environment, controlled, challenging environment that there's no chance for them to get traumatized, but there is a challenge to overcome. And then slowly raise the bar. And now your kid will become stronger emotionally, physically, mentally. And you might live a whole life not knowing the value of that investment. The amount of time that has saved your kid from being traumatized, from tragedies, you probably won't know. But what you would know is that it will increase his chance to survive. It will increase his chance to handle life. What a champ. 5 years old. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And just like I always say, stay safe and don't do anything stupid. Actually, don't lose your kids in the forest, in the snow, in the dark, in Germany. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. Take it, a freebie. That's why I always say don't do anything stupid and don't do anything that I would have done. Although I didn't really do that here, right? I mean, you get my point.